I can jump in with a demo if you're all done, Ariel. Okie dokie. Let me see. I think it's this window. Yep. Share. All right. So hopefully y'all can see Omni app. The first thing I want to show is just a bug fix and a call out for a feature flag that would maybe be nice to start turning on. So on Omni app, we have this blank AI blank workbook state that we landed, but it had an issue where if you have too many topics that are too complicated, it just overflows the LLM. There's just too much model metadata, and so we couldn't actually use this. It would just blow up and say, trying to use like put too much metadata into your query. Um, so the bug fix is now there is a kind of a two-step process where it tries to send a fully hydrated model metadata to the LLM. If that is too large, then we start to trim back the metadata that we send so that we can eventually fit it inside the query. So if I say something like, show me how many issues were closed this week, I would expect it to now, even though I don't have a topic selected, go look through all the topics, pick, GitHub issues, closed history. It looks like we closed 196 issues last week. And so, yeah, it might be nice to start turning this on now that we can handle quite large models with lots of metadata, and we can, someone who comes in and does a new analysis, they don't need to necessarily select a topic. They can just ask their question right away and it'll try to route them to the correct topic and run the correct query. So the bug fix is something most of you probably didn't even know was there, but now we can start turning this on, hopefully. And then the second piece is I spent some time this week trying to improve the AI's ability to filter on dates. Most of our errors come from, well, a lot of our errors come from creating malformed date filters on months or, periods of time like December 1st to December 15th. And so what I did is I want to run this same query on my local. And you can see that there should be two filters in this query, right? We want orders placed in December. So that's one filter. And then the second one is delivered in the last 72 hours. And I want to talk about the differences and some of the changes. So the first is, let's talk about orders. Let's run this query on demo. So show me orders that were placed in December and delivered in the last 72 hours. Oh, it actually did a pretty good job that time. It did this exact filter with these exact times. And then it looks like it also did some funky stuff here with the dates, but it may have gotten pretty close to the right answer. And the reason that demo is trying to create weird filters like this that are prone to errors is because when we tell the LLM how to generate an Omni query, we're just describing it in plain English. We're like, hey, in plain English, here's what a filter is, here's what a field is, and all that sort of stuff. And so we're trying to basically tell the LLM to create this, not this one. Wait, if I can close this topic. Oh my gosh, we're trying to tell it to create this query, but using plain English, which is prone to it coming up with really weird filters that are prone to falling over. And OpenAI lets us, instead of doing that, pass in an actual schema object. So we can say like, hey, fields are a list of strings, a limit is a number, a sort is an object with the column that you're sorting on and the direction you're sorting. So it lets us actually adhere to the specific types, which hopefully should make our filters correct more often. So the example is that I've come up with is I'm going to run the same query against my local instance where I'm using these much stricter types to create the Omni query, and hopefully the result comes back with a more reasonable filter.
Is there a performance trade-off to this kind of stuff?
It's not huge. I would say like maybe like 25% on either side. It's not like it takes like 3 times as long or 4 times as long.
Yep.
It's marginal. And so you can see here, right? It got the in the month December, and it also did it in the last 72 hours. And so the hope here is like one, the filters will be more logical, and two, we'll have far fewer errors with filters because it's actually reading from our data types in our code for an Omni filter, as opposed to me trying to prompt engineer and explain what an Omni query is. So I would like to put this behind a flag and start testing it to see if it actually reduces the error rates. Um, but yeah, hopefully this makes users happier and seeing fewer errors that don't make sense when they're trying to filter by dates.